Well guys, I made it oopsie. So what had happened was I had my Reflex in this compartment. I didn't realize that it's actually supposed to go inside the car. I had never seen a picture of it inside the car. I don't know if I missed that part in the instructions. I don't know. So it was always in that compartment. So that's on me. So when I installed the methanol injection, you remove the little water thing that goes right here to where it guides the water from here down out the car. Well, my Reflex was sitting right here pointed straight up. So the connector was like up. And then my meth was in front of it. Well, the past few days, as you guys saw in that first clip video, I had super weird problems. Like the very first day, so I think this is how it all happened. So I'd washed my car the night before I made that video on the trunk, like struts and ceramic coating these. I'd washed my car. So I think a lot of water got down that and then ran straight into my Reflex, because that morning is when I had the problems. It started weird and I just moved it out. And then after I moved it out, it sat for maybe an hour. And then I backed the car up, and then I went to leave like my little cul-de-sac, and the car was at like 3 miles an hour, then just stopped. It just braked. I was like, whoa, what the heck? And then like in the video you guys saw, my screen went all black. My digital media screen, I don't know what you want to call it, that went all black, and it just kind of sat at that, but the car was still running. So I was like, dude, what is going on? So eventually on the little like thing where it tells you what's wrong with the car, it said like driver assist malfunction. So then eventually everything lit back up again and it was fine. So I drove down the road. I was like, maybe it was just a glitch. I don't know. So I drove down the road and then it just completely stopped. Like the car stopped. It was still running, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't put it in drive, couldn't put it in the park, couldn't put it in reverse. Like it was just sitting there, like in neutral. And I couldn't turn it off. I sat there and I kept pressing the push to start, and it wouldn't turn off or on. So I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. So I just kept pressing it, tried to get it in the park or drive. Nothing was happening. And eventually it actually turned off. I was like, that was weird. So I pulled up BM3, and then I'll display all the codes on the screen. I got all those codes. And I was like, dude, seriously, I have no idea what's going on. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to clear the codes and I'm going to drive back to the house and see what's going on. So I came back. Everything was fine. I had no problems. The car started. It drove just fine. No codes. It was like nothing ever happened. And then it sat there and I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a glitch in the system. This was after I installed the meth. So I checked all the fuses and I checked the ground. I checked all that stuff and everything was fine. I was like, dude, what is going on? And then I started the car maybe like an hour later, and then my camshaft and crankshaft codes popped. And I was like, that's really weird. So then I kind of started thinking, I was like, maybe this has to do with the Reflex, because all those codes popped, and some of those codes actually said like can on them, and then they related to like the fuel, which I know you splice in the fuel stuff. And I was like, maybe this is can related, but I was like, there's no way. Like, I don't know how that would be a problem. So I talked to Mo at 5 Performance, and he told me, you need to check your CAN bus, you need to check the wires, you need to check all that stuff. I was like, all right. So I pulled my meth kit, and I pulled my CAN bus, and I was looking at it, and I was like, wires look fine. Wonder what's going on. So I pulled it out, and then I just looked inside of it. And then I was like, this looks horrible. And then I'll show the next video here. And I was like,
yep,
this
seems about right.
This sucks. Like this is gonna be a $600-700 replacement. And then it got worse, where I did this. So now I have my wire harness in my room and the canvas taken apart, and I have a fan blowing on it, but like super far away till there's just a very light breeze touching it. I didn't want to get super up on it, potentially causing water to go in other places. So I have that going. And I was talking to Mo, and he was like, you need to change where your reflex is at. It should not be in the engine bay. And looking at the harness and the reflex, the screws, I don't know if you guys can see in there, but the screws are O-ringed. Actually, I have it right here. The screws have O-rings, if it focuses. See right there's an O-ring. And then the actual plate itself, you can see has a gasket. And then the electrical connector on the inside of the reflex has a gasket. And then the actual like harness itself has a gasket. So like in my head, I'm thinking it's okay to put in there. And I didn't see anybody put it inside the car, which is wild. Apparently that's where it's supposed to go. So that's on me. You guys put your reflexes in the car. So I'm changing pretty much how everything sits. Hopefully this wasn't a costly mistake and everything's okay. I'm gonna let it dry for probably another hour and hook it up. It's been sitting in front of the fan for like an hour, maybe 2, and I've had it out for maybe 3 hours. All right, y'all, so this is what inside your canvas reflex looks like. It says void if you take this off, but once I saw the water come out of it, I was like, I'm taking the L on this anyways. So I'm just gonna take it apart. When I took it apart, all that water came out. So I mean, it was probably for the better, but I mean, if it doesn't work, I've already taken the L. So right there, you can see inside the connector. I cleaned them pretty much as good as I could. Like they all actually look clean. It's just the plastic's kind of dirty. But I mean, this has been sitting out for quite some time. So I don't know, I guess we'll see about that. And then the other part was this. You can see it does have this gasket on it, but I'm wondering if somehow the water would have had to go through there. But you can see some of these holes are a little bad, but that's the empty ones. So I'm assuming these clear ones, or not the clear ones, the ones that actually have stuff are probably good. Unless, you know, water could have got down those, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and run them through the hole here instead. So I'm gonna run those through. That way this connector and all these guys stay inside the car. And then I'll take those and run them along there to plug them back into there. And then while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and put this inside the car since everything's disconnected, just so I can actually look at that. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I don't really want it in the car, but I do want to see that this is actually pumping. Because after the video yesterday, or the other day, on testing my IATs, I'm kind of curious if this is actually even pumping, because my IATs didn't drop that much. I have everything ran through. It's pretty much rough model right now. And then oh, can't even see it. Well, that's all, it's all settled in there. Well, as I'm repinning this one decided to break. So now I got to go figure out who sells these and redo this. So it's the next morning. Last night, I was just too mad with everything going on that I didn't continue a video. So I drove to Home Depot, then AutoZone, then Lowe's, then I called Napa, and then I went to Harbor Freight, and then I went to Advanced Auto Parts. No one had these pins. I was talking to Mo, and he sent me a link, so I ordered some, and I got them overnighted, and they should be here today. So hopefully they're here today, and then I'll fix that, and that's pretty much everything. Like, I got it all wrapped up. The meth kit's back to being installed, and then I actually put the controller for the snow performance kit inside there, and then everything's underneath the glove box now. Alright, so it's a few days later, and I wanted to wait a couple days to film the rest of this video until it was a few days later, just due to the fact that if I fix it or not, then, you know, I could update you guys. And to carry on from what happened that night, I got the pins, I installed them, I repinned everything, and everything worked. Car started right up, no problems, and you know, that was it. So like I said, it is a few days later. I wanted to make sure I waited a few days just so I could say that it was fixed or not, and then it is in fact fixed. So everything that was happening was caused by the Reflex having water in it. So if you guys do anything when it comes to Reflex, make sure you install the Reflex inside your car. Just leave it at that. It's super simple. Just make sure you guys do it the right way. And like I said, honestly, I had no idea. I've posted videos and talked about my Reflex being in that cubby and no one said anything. I haven't seen anything online, so you know, at the end it's kind of my fault. I guess I didn't read or watch videos on it or something. I don't know. Anyways, I did install my snow thing right there. I didn't want to for the longest time, and then once I deleted the headlight, or once I removed the headlight delete, which is actually for sale. If you guys are still watching this and you're watching it shortly after I posted it, my headlight delete is for sale. I went back to having both headlights. For me, it was just more of a cleaner look. I didn't want such a look without, you know, the headlight and whatnot. So I put that back on, and it's going to be running. With the meth, I'm pretty much getting all the same cooling as the headlight delete. So, but anyways, that's where I'm going to end this video. If you guys want that headlight delete, hit me up on Instagram. My tag is below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.